Hi, welcome. Today we will take a look at some very useful AutoCAD tips and procedures that can make our everyday CAD life a bit easier. First, let's see how to add a custom hatch in your drawing. So hatches are used all over the drawing, and if you type the H command, you can go to the hatch creation tab, and there's a small drop down to the hatch settings where we can see the list of available pattern. When you click on the small 3 button there, it will take us through the hatch pattern palette, where there are some patterns under the ANSI and some under the ISO and some other predefined, but there is nothing as of now in the custom hatch. So when we add our own patterns, it will be appearing here. To add a custom pattern, we need to first get the pattern. You can search online and you can find a lot of free patterns. I just went to some website. I searched for hatch patterns, AutoCAD hatch patterns, and I found a lot of them. These are all free. So let's see how we can add this to our drawing. First of all, you need to remember the name where you have saved. It can be anywhere. Here in this case, I saved it in the D drive under the hatch pattern. So what you do is, in order to add it, you just go to the options, type OP for the options, and this options menu will come up, and under the files tab you will see this first folder collection of support file search path. Expand it and go to add. You need to add another tab here, so not another tab, another path here. So go to the add search path, and then here go to the browse. Browse the location where you have saved. So in this case, I have saved it in D drive CAD folder, and there is this folder here under the quick solution. I put it in the quick solution hatch pattern. That's all you have to do. Select it, give OK, apply, and OK. No need to restart. Now if you type H, and if you go to the settings again, you can see them listed in the custom hatch pattern. So all of them are available here, and which you can easily select from this list. So in this case, I'm going to select one from this custom pattern. Let's have a look at this pattern, and that will appear over here, and let's see how that is showing up here. So it's quite dense. All you have to do is, as usual, adjust the scaling, and that will be appearing here. So this is how you can add a custom hatch pattern. Tip 2: how to take the objects from model space to paper space and back from paper to model. So in this example, I have many objects that are residing in the model space. I have also 2 layouts created here. So let's go to one of them, and you will see all the model space objects through this viewport. So I made the viewport slightly bigger than the title block itself. Now here, if you have to delete this viewport right now, you won't see any of the objects of the model space objects, because they were here visible through this viewport window. But this title block is still available because that is already in the paper space. Let's undo to bring back the viewport, and we can again see the model space objects. Now let us say for some reason we want to bring some model space objects from the model to the paper space. Let's say, for example, I want to bring these items here. So here's the command: type ch space, that is the short for change space. Now it's asking to select the object. So since we are here in the model space, we are not able to pick the model space objects. So first let's go inside this viewport by double clicking. Now here we are in the model space through the paper space. Type the command again, ch space, and then select the objects you want to bring to the paper space. So in this case I'm going to select all the objects and I press enter. Now what happens is, if we are already in the paper space and we can now select it. That's because these objects are now shifted to the paper space. It will automatically scale to the current viewport scale, so you don't want to worry about it losing the relative size with respect to the other objects here. Now let's do the opposite. Let's take some objects from the paper space to the model. So in this case I have this title block which is already, so now we have all these objects and the title blocks which are in the paper space. Let's take the paper space back to the model. So here's the procedure. Now we are already in the paper space, so we can pick the title block and type ch space again and pick the objects. In this case this I made as a group, so we can select it by just one click and then press enter. Now that's all. The model, the viewport is highlighted, meaning we are inside the model space again. Now if you go to the model space here, you will see the title block. Now the title block is also scaled to its appropriate scale, in this case 1:100, so that the visual scale is maintained with respect to the objects. So this is how you can change the objects from paper space to model space or model to paper. So in tip 3 I want to talk about a system variable called UCSFOLLOW. So in this example I have two viewports open here and I want to work on it simultaneously. You might have using this technique also in your drawings. So here's the problem. In this viewport, let's say I have zoomed into this area and I want to have a good look at it. At the same time I want to work on this plan here, but immediately when I switch to this plan, I lose that zoom of the first viewport. Similarly, let's say I have zoomed in on this plan here, and when I come to this area to work on, I lost this zoom. Now this is because of a setting called UCSFOLLOW. So let's see how to fix it. All you do is type UCSFOLLOW in the viewport and change the setting from 1 to 0. Similarly, do this in other viewport also. This is a per viewport setting, so you have to do this in each viewport individually. So you type UCSFOLLOW and then make it to 0. Now let's zoom in to this area and let's come here, and I don't have any problem with that. And similarly, if I zoomed in on this area, if I come to this viewport, I don't have any problem with that zoom either. So there is a use for this UCSFOLLOW system variable, which I have explained it in another video, in one of my previous video, about rotating the views to draw the projected elevation. So if you want to see how that helps, you can check out that video. So tip 4 is custom selection from the properties menu. So I have the properties open here and I also have a drawing, and let's make a quick selection. Let's do a crossing or window selection, and now see what happens is it says all. If I don't have any objects selected, it will say no selection. So let's make a selection. So I'll do a cross selection and it says all objects. So there is a number of 518. So that means 518 different type of objects are selected here, and below the properties, they are all varying because it all contains different type of properties. Now if you click on this small arrow next to that number, you will see a splitting of the objects. So those all 518 means there are 8 solids, 26 rotated dimensions, etc. And what we want to do is, let's say in this case I want to change the text height of all the dimensions from a little bit smaller or bigger. So what you do is make the selections. In this case I'll do a cross selection like this. It contains 48 objects, that's fine. I click here and let's choose the rotated dimension in this case. And now what you see below is only the properties of the rotated dimension. Even though the other objects are picked here, you see only the properties of that rotated objects, rotated dimension here. And what I want to do is I want to change the text height in this case, just for an example. So here I type that 150 to 100, and see what happens is it quickly change. You are able to quickly change the dimension, the text height of that dimension. Similarly, let's say in another case I want to change the circle of this grid objects a little bit bigger. So do a cross selection again. Don't worry about all the other objects selected. Come here and select the circle, and that is this circle. So let's make sure, yes, we have many circles selected, so maybe it contains some other objects also. Make sure that you do as much close as selection you can do. And now in this case circle 3, that matches with what you see here. And then come down to the circle diameter. Let's change it from 612 to, let's say, make it 650, and press enter, and you are able to quickly change the diameter of the circle. So like this you can you'll be able to filter the objects you need quickly using the properties window. So that is tip 4. So in tip 5 I want to talk about changing the color of a dimension text and dimension line. So what we have here is all these dimensions. Let's say I want to flag up this dimension, I want to make it to red. So if I want to do it, let's say I pick this dimension and I go to the properties, and from here, from the layer properties, I change it to green color. So even if I change it to green color, it's not changing, neither the text or the dimension is changed color. So here is how you do it. So let's make it back to what it was before. It was by layer, and here is how you can change it. Pick that dimension which you want to change and come to the properties window, and from the properties window change the text color from white to by block. That means you are assigning individual properties to that object. So similarly change the color of the dimension line also from whatever color. So there is an override of color 9 here, so let's pick it and let's change it to by block. Now if I pick this dimension and if I change it, change the color from the layer properties, let's say I change it to green or yellow, it changes to that particular color. And if you want to match the other, you can simply type match properties and you can pick the dimension and change it to other color. So this way you can change the dimension color individually. That is tip 5. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, please like it. Also please subscribe to this channel, and if you would like to have some other videos on AutoCAD, and if you have any type of clarifications that you need, then please put it in the comment box and I will try to make a video for that. Thanks for watching. Bye now.